and today I am making the only chocolate cake recipe that you will ever need. And I have to show you my bear apron. Isn't that so cute? It just is so perfect for us in the Minnesota Northwoods. So today, this recipe comes from my grandma. This is a recipe that is probably from her grandma, 80 years old. Grew up on the Rosebud Nation Indian reservation and super duper poor. They wrote everything out, and this is an absolutely treasured recipe of mine. And my daughter that's leaving for college on Saturday asked me to make this cake for her because she's trying to eat all of her favorite foods before she leaves. So I'm going to share my cake recipe with you. This is a treasured recipe, and the cake recipe is my grandma's, and then the topping recipe is my husband's mom's recipe. So we have two of our favorite people in the whole world enjoying a kitchen cake that is just amazing. I said the wrong words, but oh well. Okay, I am going to start with, this is a recipe that you have to put some of it on the stove. So I'm going to start with that. So you need 2 sticks of butter. You can use salted butter or unsalted butter. I am using unsalted, so I'm gonna add just a little bit, half a teaspoon of salt to it. Usually I do use salted butter, but I wasn't paying attention in the grocery store and picked up the wrong one. So we can improvise. So we're gonna get that going. So we need 2 sticks of butter, 1 cup of water. Just water across it. And 3 tablespoons of baking cocoa. You can use name brand, I do not. I am perfectly fine with the generic. This one's from Aldi's. And I'm doing heaping because I like it chocolatey. So I'm gonna do 3 heaping teaspoons of cocoa. I'm going to get this on the burner, on the stove behind me, and I'm going to bring that to a boil while we're getting the rest of it ready. So while that is getting ready to boil, I'm going to get to the other part ready. So we need 2 cups of flour. All-purpose flour is fine here. So 2 cups, I'm using a half cup, that's why I'm doing 4 if you're paying attention and counting with me. 2 cups of sugar. This makes a full 9 by 13 pan. You can probably cut it in half if you want to. I have to keep consulting my recipes so I get it right. Okay, and then we're gonna add that salt because I didn't have salted butter. If you have salted butter, do not add the salt. I'm just gonna add a tad bit of sea salt. Okay. I gotta get a mixer so I can bring it back. Okay, so we're gonna mix that together. Okay, while that's mixing, we're gonna crack our eggs into a separate bowl. We're still waiting for that to boil. I got these cute little white ramekins, actually at Walmart, and I just absolutely love these little ramekins. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to cook so much food when it's just my husband and I as empty nesters, but I'm gonna probably have to give a whole bunch of food away because I love to cook. Can't eat it all, don't have a big enough family. Okay, we're gonna mix that up pretty good like that. Usually I crack it right into the bowl, but I had someone tell me I shouldn't do that because it gets egg rolls and it's eggshells in the batter and it's unsanitary. So I'm following that person's advice. Okay, let me see if this is boiling behind me yet. Okay, not yet. We're gonna just visit with you while that is boiling. So I can tell you I got this cute little apron. My husband got it for me when he was in Alaska. So he knows that I love anything Black Bear and anything Northwoods, so he got me this cute little apron. If I could find it on Amazon, I would link it. But I kind of feel like somebody actually made it. So there doesn't even have a tag on it or anything. So, but we do love cute aprons around here. Okay, we're still waiting for that to boil. We're almost there. So I can tell you a story about my grandma Irene while we're waiting, the one that this recipe is from. So my grandma Irene grew up in the small little town in South Dakota where the Rosebud Nation is, and her dad was a teacher on the Indian reservation, and they grew up on a homestead of a farm with a dirt floor and no bathroom facilities. And my great-grandmother passed away when my grandma was 12. And so my grandma helped end up raising all of the rest of the kids while her dad was the teacher for the school district. So my grandma did an amazing amount of baking and an amazing amount of girl things. So there are so many strong women in history that just have overcome so much, and my grandma was one of them, and I just really still miss her. She died at 82, the ripe old age of 82, and then she was a school nurse for 50 years. So that's what she ended up doing. So she was a school nurse, and all the kids absolutely loved her. Her funeral was packed with kids from 50 years worth of being a school nurse in a small school in Iowa. Anyway, that's the story behind my grandma. And she also had 5 kids, all kinds of stuff in there, so. Okay, so I have this boiling, and maybe that's where my love of food came from. Like, I just absolutely love food. I have to exercise a lot to eat the food, but I'm not going to, okay, so go ahead and pour this in here. I'm not gonna not eat the foods I like. I just have to exercise and make sure that I'm staying healthy. Like that. Okay, so we are going to add to that in. So we're making the base of the cake. And I've learned on these YouTube videos, I actually went out and bought a glass bowl because I had people tell me that they can't see what I'm mixing up. So I'm making adjustments as I'm getting better at this YouTube, and I just really appreciate all the people that give me advice, because we are all in this together and we all love food. If you were following me, food and dogs, that's what I'm about, food and dogs. And basic, and I am an accountant, a finance person, so I'm kind of into money too, so you will see some money videos on my channel too. Okay, so we are going to add the 2 eggs to this, a 1/2 cup of buttermilk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, I eyeball that, and baking soda, we need 1 teaspoon. I said this is my daughter's favorite cake, and I make it for her birthday every year. And her birthday, she's gonna be too far away from me this year, but I'm still gonna try to get up there. She's going to school in the middle of North Dakota. Not the middle of North Dakota, way up on the border of North Dakota, and it is the coldest city in the United States in the winter. And it is absolutely horrible roads. They have no trees, blizzards. Ugh, it's just awful. So it's really hard to get up there from January until about April. So once they get back up there for second semester, good luck. Half the time I can't even get out of my driveway. I get plowed in, stuck here a lot until my husband can plow us out. But we don't have One thing that's nice about living in Minnesota, we do not have poisonous snakes, alligators, crocodiles. We do have some tornadoes once in a while, but no hurricanes, earthquakes, not a lot of stuff that'll kill you, but the cold will kill you. 9 by 13 pan. Okay, so I recommend greasing the pan so you can do the spray stuff. I'm gonna grab some butter. Just a second. I'm gonna grease it with just a little bit of butter because you hate to go to all this work to make a cake and then it just absolutely sticks. Okay, so we did that. All right, I'm gonna pour this in here. I've got the oven preheated, 350 degrees. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Like I said, most of the recipes I make are older recipes. I've got hundreds and hundreds from my mother-in-law who's passed away now, and my mom and grandma's, and hundreds and hundreds of them. I could make enough videos to go for the next 10 years. I have so many. Okay, we're gonna bake this 350 degrees. Some oven, 350 degrees, 20 minutes. Some ovens take 25 to 28 minutes. So you need to make sure you're testing the cake, make sure it tests done in the middle. We don't want the cake that like comes up and then plunks in the middle. We want it evenly baked all the way through. So I'm gonna put it in for 20 and I'll start checking it at 20. And then we are going to make the frosting. It has to cool completely. So this will be 2 parts to the video. So I'll pop on and do the frosting in just a little bit. And I'm so thankful that you watched all the way through this video because this cake will knock the socks off of people. They will love it. Okay, the cake is done. So I'm gonna show you the cake. So I got a brown chocolate cake. It's amazing. Okay, so now we're gonna make the frosting. So this is my husband's mom's recipe for frosting. We also use these on our cream cheese brownies, and you won't find any better frosting. So I will also do this frosting as a separate video because you can use this frosting on lots of things. So you need a 1/4 cup of butter. We're gonna get that melting on the stove. And you need a 1/4 cup of milk. And 1 cup of sugar. Grab the sugar, 1 cup of sugar. Okay, we are going to bring that to a boil. So that is heating up. We're gonna bring that to a boil. Now maybe I'll move the camera a little closer. You're gonna go on a wild ride with me through the camera. While that's doing that, we're gonna get together a 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm using milk chocolate chips, not semi-sweet. Use up that one. And then my husband eats chocolate chips like candy, so I have to actually hide them. And I hide them in places he would never look. So then I actually have chocolate chips because otherwise I'll go to make something and then my chocolate chips will be completely ruined. So just a heaping half a cup of chocolate chips like that. Make sure you use milk chocolate, not semi-sweet. We want milk chocolate. Okay, so we're gonna take, you need a small whisk for this. Okay, and I'm going to move the camera over so that you can see what this looks like. So you're gonna go for a wild ride with me. Sorry, that was my ring light that just went off. Okay, you're gonna get a view of the inside of my pantry, which is a disaster, so just ignore that. Okay, wild ride, you're coming down. Okay, so I'm, oh my goodness, I will try to edit that out. Learning how to do all this stuff sometimes is more of a challenge than the actual cooking. Okay. And then my counters aren't real wide, so then, anyway. Okay, so we're going to boil this for 1 minute. I'll shut my pantry, so. Oh, you see my cute little apron with the bears? Oh, I just love it. Okay, we're gonna get this nice and boiling. And I'll show you why you need the whisk in just a second. Okay, I'm sorry, it's 1 minute. I will push this part out or edit this part out so you don't have to watch it boil for a minute. And like I said, this is a pretty universal frosting. I also use it on brownies, our cream cheese brownies, which those are amazing. I just have so many good recipes to share with you. But one at a time. Like I said, I gotta find people to give the food to because so much food. Okay, so we're gonna get that nice and hot. Let's see if I can tilt this down a little more without it. There. So it's got a nice white milky color because of the milk in there. And we want to make sure we don't scorch it. So we'll keep that going like that. So you want to get it nice and hot. All right, so now we have to work quickly. So you cannot dilly-dally around with this part. So we're gonna shut it off, add a ½ cup of heaping chocolate chips and whip. And actually I'll take it off the burner just a little bit so we don't scorch the chocolate chips. But you wanna whip so that you don't have any lumps of chocolate in there. We want it to be nice and like that. So there's not any lumps at all. Okay, now this sets up really quick. So I'm gonna put that so it's not on the burner. And then I'm gonna back you up a little bit so you can see this. Okay, I've got my chocolate cake and it sets up really fast. So you have to get it on the cake. Like that. And then you need a frosting, like stir, or I just use a knife. Like that. Okay, and then you need to let this sit probably a ½ an hour to get the frosting. I mean, it's already hardening. See how fast that hardens? There, and the frosting is hard already. So literally I probably had 20 to 30 seconds to get that spread. So keep that in mind when you are making this cake. When you make the frosting, you have an extremely short period of time to get that spread. And so look at, it's already like, it won't move. It's like stuck. But this is my favorite, my daughter's favorite, my husband's favorite, my grandma's chocolate cake, and my mother-in-law's chocolate frosting. And I guarantee that you will not have any of this left if you put it out. and everybody will ask you for the recipe. So like my video, hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. I have a ton of cooking and recipe videos, and I have a ton of dog content because I'm a huge dog person, and I have 2 famous black labs that are actually, one of them is doing a campaign for Halloween costumes. I cannot wait to put that together. And it's hunting season, so we'll have a lot of hunting. It's getting to be hunting season, so we'll have a lot of hunting videos with them. And I just started a new series called Internet Money Mom, because I do work in finance in my full-time job, and I'm so passionate about teaching young people basic finance and basic personal finance skills, because I feel like so many people, when they first get started or have college age kids, they just really struggle with knowing personal finance. It's just really not a highly taught subject. So I have a new series on that, and that's it for tonight. And I'm gonna take the dogs for a walk, and you have a great evening and enjoy the cake.